Next up we have Jason Gessner, an art school dropout and mediocre photographer, a software engineer by trade, and a Milwaukee resident for the last 3 years. Not a lot to say, we'll get it all in his presentation. Let's hear it for Jason Gessner.
Good evening. So I love the internet. It's sort of like this shiny thing. Every time something new comes out, I try it. I do things with it, like publish my photos, share them with friends, family, whatever I can get my hands on. I'll try it out once and figure out sort of what I like about it. I'll take those, share them with people like grandparents, family, whatever. Which is nice. However, grandparents are not the most technically savvy folks, so it's not a very secure kind of thing. It's not like encrypted or private or whatever, so you sort of default to this lowest common denominator, like public thing. So like, there's lots of pictures of my kids anyway. So we also have these social networking things that are more for sort of professional uses, like something like LinkedIn. So, I'm apparently connected to 1.5 million people on LinkedIn. I know 3 of them. I've helped a couple find jobs, whatever. And apparently also, in the vein of shiny things, like 58 people find it interesting to follow me on Twitter. For all 100 updates I've done in like 7 months. And I use that to do profound things like say things like that and participate in a weird internet meme where I changed my middle name to Hussein. So we do all these things, but they're just sort of out there. They're persistent. The internet never forgets. And it's all there. And we keep doing things with them and what do we get out of it? Another tool I use is Last.fm, this audio scrobbler thing. So this is the stuff I've been listening to, and then occasionally it'll tell me things like, oh, here, have this track by some other band, and that's what I get out of it. But also this is out there sort of forever. I can't take it down. And then, there's the things that sort of we get asked for. So this is my Google Reader profile, and for some reason I felt compelled to fill these things in. Why? Because then they offer me other interesting little things that I might like at some point. So, college, professional stuff, it's all out there. And then this is what I get because of it. So this is the stuff that clutters up my Facebook account. So I have real friends that I talk to occasionally on Facebook, but then I see this all the time, which is, it's okay. I'd like to get something a little more out of it, but that's apparently what I've gotten for this sharing. And then, I have to decide what to do with these things. So they keep coming at me, and I apparently bite people. And that stuff's there, and it's great. Sometimes I get interesting, valuable things about it, and sometimes I really don't. And then I just want to do this. And it's a continual sort of trade-off. There is value, might not be the greatest value around. So sometimes I feel like I just want to do. My timing's off tonight. That. Could have been better with a little better delivery. Now that's great, but all this stuff is out there. I get a little bit of value off it, but really I'm not the one that gets all of the value off of those things. I get a little bit from my friends and recommendations and things. But the guys that get the best stuff out of that are those guys. And I actually like those guys. They do very, very good and helpful things for people. Pay my bills as well, but they're not the only guys that can use all of this stuff that we're all producing and putting out there. So for every pair that's as good and sort of generous as these guys, there's these guys. And I don't get to know what they're doing with all of this stuff that I'm producing. The government has this thing called the open source intelligence effort right now, which is essentially trolling the internet for weird things. They had a report the other day that Twitter could be used by terrorists. And, really, in my social networks, do I want these guys to be my friends? Probably not. But, increasingly I don't have a choice in these things. These guys end up my friends whether I want them or not. And apparently they have MySpace pages. So I'd rather have people like this as my friends. They have a problem of being dead, minor things. But they're out there, whatever. I'd like that to, some of those ideals to sort of play in this nice thing where we all publish stuff and we share, we get all of this great value. But ultimately, it comes down to, do we want to lock some of these things up? There's a lot of nice value that we all get from publishing things and sharing and this kind of collective intelligence business. But sometimes we want to just lock it all up, and it's really difficult to do. And there's less value the more you sort of isolate your little islands of stuff. Now, locking it up, I don't want it to turn into something like this. As much as I like Mr. Rogers, I don't want everything to be sort of sanitized and safe and small and sort of kid-friendly. But then also, we don't want it to take it even farther and do this, which is the sort of Luddite, completely reactionary setup where we just go away from everything and sort of eschew all technology, because there's a lot of good stuff that we get out of this as well. So some random things, like this is very rambly, but we have a couple of weird cases where we had actual privacy legislation passed. So that's Robert Bork, the Supreme Court nominee in the 80s. There's this law the Senate passed to protect his very inane video privacy records, but we're doing this thing now where we're just giving away our privacy. So I skipped something, but I'll say, one thing that we might want to think about as we do this stuff is, we're giving away all this privacy, but we're not really demanding it from some of the people that we really need it from, like our legislators and stuff. So I rushed through some of that and I skipped stuff, but anyway, thanks.
Thanks, Jason.